Alone by Lori Quick. As I walked out the door that night, I could feel something in the air. Zoe darted ahead of me, prancing and spinning her 360s as she moved out the front yard. She was so excited she wasn't being left behind again. As we moved out of the light and stepped into the shadows, I could feel the night close in around me. The fingers of fog tentatively reaching out their tips to tickle me. Zoe, catching a whiff of a scent, dashed off towards the bushes, only to return just as quickly as she had left. For a brief moment, I had been left alone, with my thoughts, the night, and the fingers of fog. In that moment, I realized that something was wrong. Then I heard the tinkling of Zoe's collar and breathed a sigh of relief. I was no longer alone, and we continued on our trek down the road. The crunch of the leaves beneath my sneakers were the only sounds to pierce the night air. Even the night animals were eerily quiet. Only the faint sound of an airplane could be heard. Then I felt it. The hairs on the back of my neck began to prickle. I could feel something behind me, something getting closer. I turned and looked back, but nothing was there. Nothing but the fading light from my yard. Still, I moved on, hoping to shake this feeling of eyes boring into my back. I started walking faster, forcing Zoe to forget the new scent and move along. We both walked further into the night with the fingers of fog taunting us to continue. I hoped to put distance between the eyes and us. Looking up into the pale, dark blue sky, Orion was encouraging me to keep moving. The wispy clouds set against the night sky attempted to keep the stars from shining, but I could feel their struggle against the clouds being equal to mine against whatever was following me. I started walking quicker, fighting the urge to run and scream. Zoe thought it was a game, that I wanted to play chase, or better yet, hide and go seek. The only thing I wanted to hide from was the eyes that kept drilling 2 holes into my back. I looked to either side of the road in search of some place to hide, but the scraggly oak and pine trees seemed to be guarding the forest. The palmetto bushes were like the barbed wire of a prison yard, none of which looked inviting. Only the fingers of fog kept inviting me to follow it down the road further and further from the light in my yard. Still, I kept moving forward. I felt that forward was better than standing still, and definitely better than going backwards towards the very thing following me, preventing me to getting back to my light, my security area. Behind me I knew was safety, familiarity, lights, home, friends. Ahead of me, darkness, the unknown. But between safety and me was this thing that kept coming after me. I could feel it, or rather sense that it had picked up speed at the same time I did, almost as if it was stalking me, a prey for supper, perhaps a snack. It was then I realized I had picked up even more speed, and it was gaining on me. I started running, Zoe at my heels. My heart was beating in my ears, and I felt as if my chest was going to burst as I ran pell-mell down the road, away from the thing with glaring eyes. My legs were burning as I rounded the corner, my lungs expanding to suck in every bit of oxygen it could find. I realized in that moment I was in a sad physical condition, not to mention the mental state I was in. And it was at that exact moment that my left foot found the soft sand and tree root, and my body crashed to the ground. My hands went out to save me, but were extremely unsuccessful. Thoughts of panic flooded my mind as I tried to pick up my maimed body from the road. My life was over before it even began. I had to get up. It was getting closer. The stars were screaming their encouragement, and the fog was dragging its hands across my face, begging me to follow. I looked up in time to see my follower poised to pounce on me. "Meow," said Fiki, the neighbor's cat. The end.